Earlier this month, work crews were ripping out trees, knocking down buildings, and removing soil over where the new Union Square Green Line station will be located. Yishao Yuan wanted to check it out.
And we're going to be moving to excavating dirt and hauling soil out of the area in the next week or so.
TRC is working at the old Kylie Barrow site.
We're going to be digging out about 6,000 tons of soil for disposal. The end result will be 3 feet of soil over the site that will be clean soil.
The contaminated soil comes from all the chemical and toxic products washed out of barrels by the Kylie Barrow Company over 4 decades.
If we leave some of this contamination in a residential environment, there is a chance that kids could be exposed, and by putting a clean cap on the soil, that reduces that risk of exposure.
Trucks will pick up the contaminated soil before rush hour, between 6 to 8:30 in the morning. Kylie Barrow is part of the D2 development block, one of the 7 parcels being redeveloped around Union Square. D2 is owned by the Somerville Redevelopment Authority, which had to acquire some of the pieces by eminent domain. The total cost of all the parcels was $4,425,000. Work will wrap up and the site totally cleared by mid-December, paving the way for the construction of the Green Line station.
The MBTA station is actually happening in this rail right-of-way behind me. There will be 2 more train tracks added to accommodate the Green Line and incoming and outgoing set of tracks. This station will actually be approximately starting where that fence line is, and will come up. So it's a 2-level train station. You will be able to access the train station further down at ground level, but from this bridge it will actually be up a 2nd level and will come out into this space. Approximately where I'm standing right now is where you'll be able to enter the new station at Union Square.
D2 also contained a small parking lot. The people who had those spots, mostly teachers at Prospect Hill Academy, will now park in the big Union Square lot. But eventually, the square will likely have more parking.
That parking lot was actually a rather small parking lot. I believe it was only 30 to 35 spaces. As part of the redevelopment of Union Square and working with the US2 group, they will be responsible for siting the correct amount of parking throughout Union Square.
Big changes are installed for Union Square. We will stay on the story. Reporting from Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Yishao Yuan.
The Kylie Barrow site cleanup is costing about $2.15 million, according to City Hall. That's covered by grants. The demolition of buildings will cost another $730,000 or so. Eventually, the master developer for Union Square, US2, will buy the land from the Somerville Redevelopment Authority. The price is still under negotiation. And here's another update on Union Square redevelopment. News Director Jane Regan attended the October 8th meeting of the Civic Advisory Committee.
Some 50 people turned out to hear from city officials who explained what's next. Once the city and US2 sign the development agreement, the planning phase will begin. Director of Planning George Proakis handed out a calendar. A first step will be to review summer vision and other plans.
There's been about 10 or 12 years worth of different planning work that has already gone on in Union Square about neighborhood planning. One of the first things we're going to do as a city design team with our consultants is look at all of those and figure out kind of what's where.
Planning for the D2 block will move ahead of other blocks because of the T station construction. The community will be involved in discussing various goals.
You know, how much housing, how many jobs, how much open space. You know, there can be some exceptions to that, but that's really where it's easier for everybody to engage together.
Members of the Union United Coalition made a presentation about community benefits agreements.
What it does is, the idea behind it is to lessen mitigate a lot of the impacts, negative impacts of development, and anticipate what those are and come up with corrective measures for those.
And listed what they would like to see in the agreement.
We are focusing on basics of living in Union Square, like place to live, place to work.
We believe that they can be development without displacement.
We'd like the agreement to include that at least 40% of the housing in the redevelopment will be affordable to households ranging from very low income to middle income.
There were a lot of reactions.
It's important that the people who build and revitalize Somerville can afford to live here after everything looks fantastic.
And even discussion about opening up the Civic Advisory Committee.
There should be an opportunity of revisiting a composition maybe of the CAC and making it somewhat more inclusive.
US2's representative was also present.
I think it was a productive discussion. You know, appreciate the city's leadership and the CAC's leadership in trying to kind of bring everybody together around one schedule for moving the development forward. And I think that all the dialogue around the community benefits is appropriate, and we look forward to getting into the details with all the stakeholders.
Will the Citizens Advisory Committee be adding new members? Will the Community Benefits Agreement guarantee that beloved local businesses can stay in Union Square? And what about the amount of affordable housing available to Somerville residents? And, of course, local jobs. These are among the issues being discussed as work on Parcel D2 begins. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Jane Regan.